Aloha guys, Scuba Chris here. Now when I get a tube in the mail, like this long puppy here, it's always going to be good news. It's going to be a rod. So how do I just inspect the rod, or do I go out in the field and use it? 99% of us just go out and use it, but I take at least 10 minutes to inspect my product because it is a factory made product, which means is that there's a chance of something going made wrong or something was damaged in the shipping. So let me show you how to inspect your rod. So when you got your rod, do you just go out and use it? Well, yeah, I used to before, but I inspect it first for factory defects. Now, because it comes from a factory, it doesn't matter if it's an Akuma, if it's a Daiwa, a pen, no matter what. Mistakes can be made because it's coming off a factory. So let's make sure that what we have here is good to go before we go. Okay, the first thing I do is I check moving parts. Now this here is a bait casting rod. It's not a spinning rod because it says C. It's for bait casters. And bait casters are, oh, that's a bait caster, okay? So on a rod like this, the only moving part is the handle. Yeah, look at it. This is screw up, screw down handle. Sometimes you get it from the bottom and from the top. This one is coming from the top. So we make sure that everything looks good on this. And I mean, just visually inspect it, because sometimes in shipping, may not be the company's fault. Maybe the canister took a hit and there'll be a crack. So I always inspect moving parts first. Now, if this was on the bottom that was moved, you inspect that. Okay, the first thing after that, I inspect the ferrules. I inspect the ferrule connections. All right, the reason I inspect this, you got to look at it. Now you got to remember, factories, there's a lot of epoxy flying around, little debris in the air that's going to get caught in this during the resetting time. Feel that. It's got to be smooth. If it's not smooth and a piece of dust gets it during settling, that is going to create a problem, because that will go into here. It's going to form it like a tight wedgie. And that means that with the it could be temperature differences in the areas you fish. It could be salt drying up, but that can create a problem. You may not be able to separate this. So always make sure you check this. This one here is clean. All this is clean. See that? And then I would look in here and I would inspect that too. But see, what I'm doing right now is when I get lazy is I make sure I just go in and out real smooth. If as soon as I feel an obstruction of any type, then I take it out and take a good look in it with a flashlight. But this one's okay. And you also look in this end too. Make sure there's no hairline cracks. Now this is a good one here because this company made sure that they built up the end over here, so it's not very thin. It's very thick wall. So that's a good sign right there. Now check this out. This is called ferrule lubrication wax. Now what this is just a mixture of beeswax and mineral oil. That's all it is. I bought a couple of these little containers, and you know what? Just one container so far. I'm not even halfway done. I've done hundreds of rods of all different companies. So what you do is that this will put, you just need to look at that. Look how little I use, and just hundreds. Just get your finger in there. See how it's just a little bit? And you coat it over. Your connection. That's it. That is all you have to do. And especially for you folks that live in the colder climates, this is really good, because the cold will actually change the diameters of the materials just by a hair. So what's going to happen here, take a look at that. I'm going to put this on. Woo! Now see how it's drooling at the end there? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that This is the reason why I use very little bit, as you saw. I'm getting it coated on both sides. I'm getting it coated on the outside of this one, inside of this one. There. Oh man, I tell you. That's why I never ever got a lockup. A lot of my friends get a lockup. I don't. It's because I use this for my whipping as well as my dunking and sliding rods. There you go. That's all you have to do. Now, to me, this is really important. Make sure that the guides are not wobbly. You gotta grab them. Turn it just a little. Try to turn a little like that. Make sure that they all line up. Also, make sure that each one has the guide insert, because these are just metal guides. But see that there's is either zirconium or other type of material for the inserts. Make sure the inserts are in there, because there's a possibility from all the bumping and all that from trucks, from boats, planes, whatever, that it might come loose, right? So it might come off. So I make sure that everyone has an insert. Yep. I also look down, make sure, yep, everything is in line. You got to do that. You got to make sure that everything is in line. And most importantly is your tip. Make sure that the insert is in the tip right there and that it's securely on. Make sure that there's no breaks on the guides, and that looks pretty good. All right, that was the most important part there. Next, be sure that your rings or your lockdowns aren't cracked or damaged in any way. Best way to do that, if it's a bait caster or a spinner, put a reel on. And this one is A-OK. So that one's inspected, ready to go. Now comes the real test. Basically, bend it. So what we're going to do is, if there's any cracks that can't be seen, it can be felt or heard. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to bend it. But make sure you bend it the way it's supposed to be bent. So on this one, if the bait caster is on top, make sure that when you bend it, that it's this way. Make sure that the bend's okay, meaning that you don't hear any crack, 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 crack. And you look, okay, see the bend here? Shouldn't be any flat areas. If there's flat areas, then that's a break and you're going to hear it cracking away. So this one's good. Now, if this was a spinner, you would put the spinner down before doing that, but I won't do it on this one. And that's the final check. So just be sure that you check your equipment before you go out and use this. Everything I showed you is going to take less than maybe a minute, around a minute, to check it out. All right? Thank you.